Lately, I've seen a lot of testing CR7 boot hacks videos popping up all over the internet. And after that, we've gotten a lot of questions and a lot of comments on how you do those CR7 boot hacks the right way. But here's the thing, I don't necessarily think that you have to do them, or even that you should be doing them. And I'll explain why in a second. But in today's video, I'll give you 3 CR7 boot hacks that I think you should actually try and avoid. And also, I'll give you one extra thing that is so obviously stupid that I don't think we should talk too much about it. Just promise me before we get started that if you haven't done so already,
subscribe to the channel with the notifications on.
Leave a like on the video if you've had a good time. Now you want me to say the thing, but I'm not gonna say it, so let's just get going. So the first hack I've seen in a few places is that Ronaldo allegedly wears his boots a few sizes too small. He's sizing down in order for the boots to fit a little bit tighter so he can feel more and control the ball better when he dribbles. Now, allegedly, depending on who you ask on the internet, that means that he gets his custom boots made a full size, sometimes a size and a half, maybe even 2 full sizes down to make them fit tighter. And there's a lot to unpack here. Look, the story first came about in 2007, where one of Ronaldo's alleged pals had revealed that Ronaldo had his custom Nike boots made to fit a full size and a half smaller, because again, he really enjoyed that tighter fit and closer feel on the ball. And obviously that sparked a lot of debate, where all experts came out and said that was a really bad idea, and even his mother, Dolores, was allegedly at least worried that it would affect his feet in the long run. Obviously, she wants him to have healthy feet, that's his main weapon, and she wants him to have a long career. He can't do that, can he, if his feet are screwed up? And she's not wrong, because yes, Ronaldo does get his boots custom made by Nike, custom made to his foot shape and all that stuff, but sizing down that much is still a really bad idea. Because just because Ronaldo decided to wear boots that were a size and a half too small back in 2007, and even if he still does it today, that's his problem by the way, that doesn't mean that you should do it. Now, I wanted to try what it felt like actually going down a size and a half myself, and the thing was that I couldn't get the boots on. So there was that. Instead, I went down half a size from my true to size in the Vapor, which is normally a perfect fit. Like, I don't need it tighter. So even just going down half a size, which I would say should be manageable normally, my feet are in pain. Like, my toes are starting to go numb here. I've worn them for 20 minutes? Haven't really played in them yet, just been walking around, and I'm not comfortable. And given the fact that my toes are going numb, I can also feel it up here on the nerves. It's just, I don't really think it does anything good for my sense of control on the ball. Quite the contrary, I would feel much better in my regular size. And playing 90 minutes in these? Hell, I wouldn't even do it if you paid me to do it, especially not if playing football was my job. I had to perform every day, every month, every match, every year for a long period of time. No. And like going further, no. No, I wouldn't do it. Torture, man. But the thing is that not only does wearing boots that are too small actually just hurt, which is never nice, but it might actually also be really, really bad for your feet. So experts say that wearing too small boots can actually go in and really mess with the bone structure. That's not good. It can also really mess with the nerve structure, which is also not very good, and tons of other nasty stuff that I don't even understand and has weird Latin names. And just point being that it is not good, especially if you do it for a long period of time. Like, why would you even risk doing something just because a young kid wore boots that were too small 18 years ago? And yes, he happened to be very good at football, but it's really uncomfortable. It might seriously damage your feet, and it also makes the boots harder to get on. Like, what's the point? And then, of course, there is Ronaldo cutting the collar off his Superfly 9 in the spring of 2024 to kind of take off like half of the dynamic fit collar and get this middle of the road look and feel between a Superfly and an actual Vapor. The funny thing is, it's actually not the first time that Ronaldo has wore a slightly lower cut collar Superfly. He did that back in 2014 with the Superfly 4 with a more like a low-cut collar, custom made by Nike, of course. But that also shows that it's not just a one-off thing. Apparently, he seems to like this style, so should you do it? No? Look, if you go out and buy a brand new pair of Superflies here, then you go home, you whip out a pair of scissors, and the first thing you do is to cut the collar off the Superfly to make it more like a vapor. That's just pretty stupid. Instead of just buying the boots. Because not only is the Superfly more expensive than the Vapor, for you to just go and make it like a Vapor instead of just that's really stupid. But also because by cutting your boots, you will immediately void your warranty. You're gonna lose it, meaning that if your boots fall apart for even an unrelated reason to the cutting, well, the warranty doesn't cover it. You can't send them back and get a new pair, so you might as well just throw them away and buy a new pair, and that's even more money. And also, of course, if you end up cutting your collar, you cut the knit, which I'm not gonna do because it's stupid, but if you do, the knit will fray and come undone and the boot will fall apart even quicker. So in other words, do not cut your boots, at least not for this reason. You know, if you want a Superfly with a lower collar, gee, I wish that Nike made a boot that was the exact same but had a lower collar. Oh wait, look down. Like, and then of course, there is the hot water trick, the famous hot water trick. I've even recommended it a few times, but Ronaldo famously did it back in the Superfly 2 and Superfly 3 days to really soften up that very, very stiff upper and make it fit his foot better to avoid like blisters and black nails and all that other nasty jazz. So the thing is, should you do that? Well, yes and no. Look, there's actually nothing wrong with the hot water trick itself. I've actually recommended using it in a few of my boot hacks videos, and if you do it right, it absolutely works in terms of softening up stiff uppers. But do I think you need it in 2025? Honestly, not really. At least not on like 95 or more % of boots out there, because most boots these days have such soft and pliable uppers straight out of the box that they're pre-softened, if you want to say, and I think most players, they're not gonna need the hot water trick. Now, if you do find a pair where you think, okay, I gotta have the upper soften up a little bit, you find those couple of, rare % that still have stiff uppers, you can definitely do the hot water trick. Just make sure that you use water that's not too hot. It could be lukewarm. You need to be able to actually put your hand in it and not burn your fingers. And just whatever you do, avoid boiling hot water, especially, and I don't even know what videos that are suggesting this are thinking, but don't use boiling water if your feet are inside the boots. And I know, no one can possibly be that stupid, right? Well, the thing is that I've actually seen a few videos on the internet that, for whatever reason, are suggesting that you should seriously pour boiling water over your boots while you have them on your feet to soften the upper up and make them take to the shape of your foot. I mean, it makes sense except for the boiling water part. Do you not see that pouring boiling water over your feet is a bad idea? I hope I don't have to say this, but just don't do that. But the other thing is that even if you take your boots off, put them in a bowl and pour boiling hot water over them, or just really, really warm water, the thing is that football boots are held together by glue. Do you know what happens when glue is heated? Well, it starts to melt. That's not great. And also, boiling water might also just damage and weaken the materials on the rest of the boot. Again, stick your finger in it. If it's okay, it's cool to use on the boots, whether you put your feet inside or not. Just do not, please, use boiling water. But I promised you one last,
let's call it, hack.
And that is the fact that, allegedly at least, Ronaldo doesn't want to wear black or dark football boots because he makes them think. They make him, apparently he feels slow when he's wearing them. You know what I mean. So should you avoid dark or black football boots because Ronnie thinks they make him slow? You probably know what I'm going to say. No, of course not. I mean, personally, I think black boots look cool and sleek and really stealthy, and if anything, look slightly faster than white boots. So at the end of the day, it all comes down to what you like and what makes you feel good. And when it comes to the general hacks here, look, I'm a big fan of life hacks in general. Things that can make your life a little bit easier, make things fit better, work better, perform better, all that stuff. But just have a think. that just because some footballer that has a lot of money and gets a lot of free football boots does something to cater to their specific needs, and a lot of it was done back in the day where we didn't know as much, it doesn't mean that you should automatically go out and do it. Just be a little critical when you hear of these things. And of course, if you want to customize your boots, if you want to try these hacks, if you're willing to accept that it can go wrong and have the money to buy new football boots, cool. Like, try it out, but just be critical. That's all I'm trying to say here. But guys and girls, I've heard a lot of crazy stories about, CR7 football hacks. What is the craziest football boot hack that I should look into next? Let me know right down below. You know what to do, subscribe and like, and with that, I'm gonna go.